The Yay or Nay Show with Alex C. A sports show for sports fans by a sports fan. And now, here is Alex C.
All right, here we go. It is the Yay or Nay Show. This is the sports show for sports fans by a sports fan, and a lot of stuff to talk about today. Once again, the media has caught up with me. Of course, I am out front of the story. You'll find out what I'm talking about here in a few minutes. But first, let's get into some of the Yay or Nay questions that have been thrown up on the Twitter page. Again, the address to the Twitter page at Yay or Nay Podcast, which happens to be the same address to the Facebook page at Yay or Nay Podcast. Also, for those of you who are watching the video cast, you see that link on the bottom. That link is for the official Yay or Nay Show with Alex C podcast female shirts. Click on that if you'd like to make a purchase. There are plenty of them available. For those of you who are streaming the podcast, you can go to at Yay or Nay Podcast on Facebook and Twitter, or you can go to my personal Facebook page if you can find me there. You could always go at Yay or Nay Show and find us pretty much anywhere you want to be video-wise. And then you'll see the little link on the bottom of the screen. Click on that. And again, it'll take you to where you need to go to make the purchase. And of course, Facebook, Twitter, at Yay or Nay Podcast. I have posts up there with the link as well. Plenty of ways for you to find the link if you'd like to make a purchase. We have the guys' shirts as well. I just don't have the link up for that. I'll put that link up tomorrow. But again, the female Lady Tees link is up on the bottom of the show now. Again, for those of you who are streaming video, you could see it. For those of you who are streaming the podcast, you could find us on video on Facebook and Twitter at Yay or Nay Podcast, the address to the page. I was trying to think of, the other pages we're on. I was having a brain moment here. Instagram, at Yay or _ Nay Podcast, at Yay or _ Nay Podcast. That is the address to the Instagram page. You could find the link there as well. And again, we're in a few places. I'm just going through a mind thing. And the reason why I'm going through, we'll call it a mind meld, is because there are just so many things to talk about. I just got to get right to it, but really quickly before I get to it, I just wanted to mention the gear is out, male and female shirts. The link for the females is up, again, at the bottom of the video cast. For those of you streaming, you can go to our Facebook and Twitter page. We'll stick with that. That's the easiest way to find the video cast at Yay or Nay Podcast, the address to both of those social media pages. And then, of course, on Instagram at Yay or _ Nay Podcast. Those are the easiest ones. We're on other places video-wise, but again, too many to mention, and I've got too much to get through today. And again, I apologize, having a little mental breakdown there, but just so many things to talk about. And at the same time, I'm trying to launch this line for the podcast as far as the clothing goes. So just going through a lot today. I apologize for the little, we'll call it brain fart that I'm having at the moment. But let's get into some of the Yay or Nay questions that are also up on the Twitter page at Yay or Nay Podcast. Again, the address to the Twitter page. Got some of the Yay or Nay Podcast questions that have come back. Let's go with, can the Astros win 3 in a row to win the World Series? Now, again, this was asked prior to game number 6. This is where they have won 1 of 3, which means they had won game 5. We were going into game 6. Again, I'm a little behind because there's been so many stories, so many things going on. So again, I apologize. I'm a little behind in regards to getting you the results, but here's what came back. 66.7% of the people that voted believed that the Astros did have the ability to win 3 in a row. I was one of the 66.7% of people, and obviously we were wrong. World Series champs are obviously the Atlanta Braves. By the way, once again, congratulations, Atlanta Brave fans. But 66.7% of the people that voted believed, and again, I was one of them, that the Astros would have the ability to win 3 in a row. All right, now here's another question, because again, Deshaun Watson, prior to the trade deadline, a lot of people were talking about him going here, him going there. These people make offers, those people making offers. The Dolphins were the ones who were allegedly were real hot and heavy into the deal. So I asked, should the Dolphins trade for Deshaun Watson? 60-40, 60% of the people said yes, that the Dolphins should, in fact, make the trade for Deshaun Watson. As we know, trade deadline has come and passed. No trade was made. I'm a little surprised. Again, keep in mind, Deshaun Watson has 23 counts of sexual harassment against him, and yet people believe that a team should have made a move to grab him. I don't really understand why. Again, but I'm not here to influence anybody at the same time. I'm just here to read the results, but I am surprised. I honestly thought it would be flipped the other way around. But again, 60% of the people that voted said the Dolphins should, in fact, trade for Deshaun Watson. I'm not going to lie. I was a little surprised at the results. Here's another one, because another big story that came up during the World Series was the tomahawk chop. People always trying to, take a shot whenever they can to turn sports into some kind of a politicized advertising tool. And so the question that I asked was, do you see the Atlanta Braves tomahawk chop as being racist? 100% of the people that voted, small sample, let me throw that out there, small sample, 100% of the people that voted said no, they do not see the Atlanta Braves tomahawk chop as being racist. Okay? So again, small sample, 100% said nay. Here's another one. Are the Packers the front runners to come out of the NFC? Again, obviously, this coming out before the Aaron Rodgers news. We're going to talk a little more about that here in a moment. But again, are the Packers the front runners to come out of the NFC? This one came back. 83.3% of the people that voted said nay, the Packers are not the front runners in the NFC. Prior to, obviously, the results of the World Series, I had another question that says, who wins the World Series? This one came back 50-50, split down the middle. There was no definitive winner between Atlanta and Houston. It, again, was a split. So, really, among the fans, they were kind of, could go either way. I tilted towards Houston. Again, I felt that it could have gone either way, but I kind of tilted it towards Houston just because, again, I believed in their offense. I thought it would be too consistent for Atlanta to deal with. It turns out the pitching of Atlanta was too hot for Houston's hitting. So, hey, what are you going to do, right? It is what it is. You're the fans, you vote. Is it time for the 49ers to move on from Kyle Shanahan? Now, keep in mind, I have been saying for a while now, it's time for the 49ers to move on, and I still stand behind that statement. Even though they got a victory over the Bears, it was the Bears, and it wasn't even that impressive a victory. And I didn't like what I saw offensively that was being structured and ran by Kyle Shanahan. And I believe the 49ers are in a little bit of trouble looking forward to this Sunday against the Cardinals. I know they play them tough. I know it's a divisional matchup, but I believe they've got a lot of problems. And I think the problems are more than Kyle Shanahan and Lynch now. I think the problems are in the locker room because of the indecisiveness in regards to what they're going to do with the quarterback room. I believe that's created a lot of dissension in the locker room, and I think that's where a lot of the problem lies. It's not just Shanahan's play calling, but now it is his leadership, and I believe that's part of the problem that the 49ers are running into currently. But again, getting back to the question, is it time for the 49ers to move on from Kyle Shanahan? 78.6% of the people that voted said yay. So now fans are starting to agree with me. It is time for the 49ers to move on. And again, I've been saying it for a while. National media still hasn't caught up with me yet. They will. However, I've been beating up on the local yokel media here in Phoenix. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. I know I keep teasing what I'm talking about. Believe me, I'm going to get to it. We are definitely going to have this conversation. Before we do, we got to have the other conversation. Aaron Rodgers. Okay, I heard something today, and I wouldn't even be talking about Aaron Rodgers today if it wasn't for something that I heard. And I heard something today that kind of drove me nuts. It absolutely drove me nuts. So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to the national guys. And I thought really, in all honesty, they were going to kind of gloss over this, kind of blow it off, kind of just move forward, say what happened, and then get into the next topic. Honestly, I thought that's what it was going to be. Instead, what it turned out to be was people defending Aaron Rodgers. And here's where I'm going with this. So there were some people that were saying that Aaron Rodgers didn't mislead the media. He didn't lie to the media, that they wanted to see what Aaron Rodgers had to say in regards to this whole situation, and that they believed in Aaron Rodgers. So my take on this is this. I'm listening to the national media guys basically kiss Aaron Rodgers' butt. That's basically what I'm hearing. They're kissing his butt. I don't know why. He doesn't hold a lot of power in the league. I don't know what it is that makes these guys want to kiss his butt. Maybe they're afraid that he'll never give them another interview. And personally, who cares? Aaron Rodgers is a bad interview anyways, and all he does is talk about himself in a third party, and he talks as if he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So why do you really need to do an interview with Aaron Rodgers? Just critique his game and tell everybody how it is. But that's not what the national media does. They're all kissing his butt, and I'm trying to figure out why. Because the thing is this, how can you sit there and say that Aaron Rodgers didn't lie to everybody when the question was simple? And this is one of the very few times, and I mean the very few times, where an answer is black and white. Yes, most of the times in life when a question is asked, there's a gray area. That part's true. This just does not happen to be one of those times in life. You can't ask somebody if they've been vaccinated and have them look you in the eye and say, yes, I'm vaccinated. And then the fact is they're not vaccinated. Okay. There is no gray area there. Absolutely zero, zilch. No room for movement in any way, shape, or form. There is no way in the world Aaron Rodgers can say he's vaccinated and yet have that not be a lie. I don't understand. And it seems to be a lot of NFL ex-former players that want to believe Aaron Rodgers' garbage that he's spewing out of his mouth. And I don't know why. I really don't. I guess they feel like they're part of an elite club and they don't want to be kicked out of the elite club because Aaron Rodgers is like the president of the elite club at the moment, and really he's not. That would be Tom Brady. But with that being said, they're afraid of saying anything that would alienate their ability to be able to talk to Aaron Rodgers or have Aaron Rodgers like him. That's the impression that I'm getting. Because, again, they're kissing his butt, and there is absolutely no reason why when you busted the guy in a flat-out black and white lie. There's no way around it. Again, how do you get asked the question, are you vaccinated? Have Aaron Rodgers sit there and say, yes, I'm vaccinated, and have that not be a lie? They like to say, oh, well, he's a smart guy. He's an intelligent guy. You know, he knows how to use his words. What special category of words does Aaron Rodgers own that I and the rest of the world don't? What special category of words did Aaron Rodgers utilize that makes you think there is somehow a gray area in regards to answering the question, are you vaccinated? You say yes, you're not vaccinated. You just turned out to be positive with a COVID test, and then it comes out that you're not vaccinated, and all of a sudden, now it's a gray area. He did a great job answering without answering. No, he didn't. He said he's vaccinated. Folks, it's real simple. If you didn't get vaccinated by one of the FDA-approved drugs for COVID-19, you're not vaccinated. It's really simple. You want to tell me that you tried, what is that? I don't even know the word for it. Hologenistic or whatever the word is. I don't even know what the word is. You want to tell me that you tried some kind of home therapy, a home therapy that you tried to get the NFL to approve and to say it equates to the same as getting a Johnson & Johnson or Moderna shot for COVID-19. And by the way, they turned it down in regards to that request. And I don't get it. I don't get it. This makes no sense to me why these guys continue to run their mouths, make themselves, and now I'm talking about the NFL national sports analysts, why they run their mouths and why they're making themselves look absolutely, and I'm sorry, there's no other way to say this, make themselves look absolutely stupid by sitting there saying that Aaron Rodgers somehow has a vocabulary that allows him to tell a blatant lie, but still somehow he didn't lie. That makes, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Bill Clinton. Did you have sex with that girl? No, I did not. And then in the end, yes, he did. But because he didn't do the normal traditional method, all of a sudden, it's a play on words, and everybody in America is supposed to believe, well, really, he was telling the truth. No, he didn't. He had sex with her. If you look up sex, what she did for him, favor-wise, it still comes up as being sex, everybody. So there is no gray area here, just like there's no gray area for President or former President Clinton. So don't give me the garbage of there's a play on words here. If you did not get vaccinated with Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, or any of the FDA government-approved drugs for COVID-19, you are not vaccinated. He lied, he lied, he lied. And for these former players to make themselves look absolutely 100% stupid by sitting there saying that he didn't lie. Oh, I just need to hear what he has to say. Really? You need to hear what he has to say? So you want to hear what the next lie is. That's like you busted your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife cheating, and you saw it happen with your own eyes. But you know what? It's not cheating. I got to wait and see what they have to say first. Do you know how stupid that sounds? Again, it's equal to the stupidity that you're saying in regards to, I have to hear what Aaron Rodgers has to say first. Absolutely stupid. I don't get it. I do not get it. Speaking of dumb, let's talk about this. Dumb is, okay, first of all, this morning I was watching the local news. Now, I don't know at what time the story finally broke on ESPN in regards to Robert Sarver. You guys know I've been talking about Robert Sarver for a while. I've been on this. As soon as it got mentioned by TMZ, I've been on this, and I've been critiquing, and I've been heavily critiquing the local news media here, saying, why are you being so quiet? What are you afraid of? What does Robert Sarver hold over you that you people are afraid to talk about? Real, legitimate allegations. A story's going to break. Why are you not breaking and talking about it now? Now, equate that also with the local radio, who's been silent as well. A couple of people talked about it very briefly, and when they did, they kind of went in defense mode, kind of defended Sarver, which really kind of made them sound kind of dumb, considering they knew absolutely zero and hadn't even read the story, and yet they were in defense mode anyway. And then the morning show on one of these local radio stations, towards the tail end, I guess, so I'm told, because again, I don't know. I was doing my own morning radio show on my radio station, and I didn't see when the story finally broke. But as I was listening back to something that I had recorded from earlier show in the morning on local sports radio, I heard one of the hosts here talking about it, and he also was downplaying it, didn't talk about it much, says, well, I really got to kind of read a little more. I really don't know. I really don't have anything to say. Has everything to say all the time about everybody and anybody else. But because it's Robert Sarver, all of a sudden he wants to play noisy crickets. Let me be an investigative reporter. Let me do the research. I mean, it's like, wow, okay. All right, so you're telling me you have absolutely zero opinion. Oh, and you do this for a living. Oh, and you talk to people who know and deal with Sarver on a daily basis. Oh, and you're telling me you've never heard anybody insinuate or say anything in any way, shape, or form. Then, again, and I watched the local news media on TV. They said nothing, but again, maybe it didn't break in time. I'll give them the credit. Maybe it didn't break in time, but it did apparently break in time for the local sports radio. So I don't know how it could break for the local sports radio and not for the TV. But again, that's not for me to say. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, even though they should have already been talking about this because there was plenty out there for a couple of weeks and they still played noisy crickets. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for today. I'm assuming when I watch the news tonight, allegedly, I'm assuming I'm going to hear something. We'll see. I'll let you know. I'm really not holding my breath. I think the TV, for whatever the reason is, don't want to talk about this Robert Sarver. But as I watched TV on the Four Letter Network, this thing was blown up and all over the place. All over the place. This story was blown up. NBA launches investigation into Phoenix Suns owner Robert Sarver over racism, sexism charges. And then the other story is simply allegations of racism and misogyny within the Phoenix Suns inside Robert Sarver's 17-year tenure as the owner. So those are the two stories that have broken on the Four Letter Network and a couple of other sports networks, but yet news media locally not talking about it, keeping quiet, and I've been busting their chops over this for weeks. And rightfully so, because again, they claim to be investigative. They claim to say when news breaks, they give it to you first. I gave it to you way before the local news media, so I don't think so. And then I heard some afternoon guys on a local radio show talking today. And again, I don't know, man. I don't want to say certain things. There are certain things that come to my mind. I'm not going to lie. There are certain things that I normally don't say that are coming to my mind. I'm trying not to say those things. But when I heard these guys sit there and say, well, now that I've looked at the report, it doesn't seem that it's as bad as everybody says it was going to be. It kind of seems like, and there doesn't seem to be a smoking gun. There's no recorded calls. There doesn't seem to be a video. So I don't really know how much is there. Really? Again, going in defense mode. I'm trying to understand why they're going. I'm not saying the guy's guilty. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I want to see him locked up. I'm not saying that I want to see him get forced into selling. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, why is everybody going into defense mode? Why isn't everybody, at least the morning guy on the local radio said, I'm going to investigate further, and as information comes out, I'll let you know. At least he said that. And I would agree with him. I would actually agree with him. It's just the way he said it kind of made me believe that he really was just looking for an out. He's waiting for that one thing to come out where he could just say, yeah, Robert Sarver didn't do it. He's okay. I mean, I just kind of got that impression. That's the only reason why I had a problem with him. But he did say the right thing, which is, well, let me investigate. And if anything comes out, I'll let you guys know on my social media. And obviously, we'll talk about it again tomorrow morning. So at least him saying that made sense. These guys in the afternoon were like, oh, no, there's no smoking gun. There's no mirror. And at least there's no players that are sitting there currently that are corroborating or say, it's like, really? So basically, you just keep searching and looking and trying to find basically the smoking gun in the defense mode. That's all you're really trying to do. You're just trying to find a way to deflect and say that there's nothing to see here, because that's really what I'm hearing. That's really the message that I'm getting. And I just find it hilarious, and it's pathetic because, again, there's a lot to uncover. And even though the story has come out, the NBA, first and foremost, has barely launched their investigation. And secondly, I personally hardly doubt all of the information and all of the facts are out. Now that the initial story has finally hit and come to fruition, I would imagine now that there are going to be more details and there will be more people coming out. Just like when Deshaun Watson's initial accuser came out, what happened? More accusers, more information, more allegations. I'm assuming the same thing is going to happen here because that's the way it works. And again, I'm not saying Robert Sarver's guilty of anything. I am saying, why is it that the local radio here is all in defense mode, trying to say there's no smoking gun, there's nothing to see here, there's no current players corroborating this, there's no video, there's no recordings. Okay, that we know of at the moment, first and foremost. Again, the story barely broke. And I hardly doubt everybody's had the time to really go through each and every detail in regards to the story, because I hardly doubt the four-letter network has dropped every detail in regards to the story. They never do. There's always got to be a part 2 and a part 3, especially when you're dealing with a big bombshell like this. So I have not got the chance to read anything as of yet in regards to this story. I figured let's do this together. So I'm going to go ahead and read some of this story. And again, I'm doing it live. I haven't done it before. I'm just getting into it right now as we speak. So let's get into this real quickly. On the evening of October 30th, 2016, at Talking Stick Resort Arena in downtown Phoenix, Earl Watson, in just his third game as the Suns head coach, faced a tall task: beat the powerhouse Golden State Warriors. The young Phoenix Suns team had been toiling at the bottom of the NBA standings for years, missing the playoffs for 6 straight seasons while churning through head coaches. Watson was the fourth in as many years. Still, the Suns were playing in the eventual NBA champions close, even leading by 13 in the first half. But it didn't last. The Warriors took control in the fourth quarter and cemented a 106-100 win, dropping the Suns 0 games to 3. After the loss, Suns majority owner Robert Sarver entered the coach's locker room. Watson told the four-letter network, "You know, why does Draymond Green get to run up the court and say N-word?" Sarver, who is white, allegedly said, repeating the N-word several times in a row. "You can't say that," Watson, who was black and Hispanic, told Sarver. "Why?" Sarver replied. "Draymond Green says," and he says the N-word. "You can't effing say that," Watson said again. So again, this is part of the story And we're talking about Earl Watson, a credible guy, a former coach. And now that I'm reading this, the local radio guys are sitting here saying there's no smoking gun. There's nothing to see here. There's no current players. Are you trying to say that Earl Watson has no credibility, local radio dummies? Is that what you're trying to say? Are you seriously saying that right now? Wow. How hilarious is this? All right, let's go a little further into this. The anecdote offers a glimpse into the conduct that sources told the four-letter network Sarver has often exhibited since buying the Suns in 2004. Interviews with more than 70 former and current Suns employees throughout Sarver's 17-year tenure describe a toxic and sometimes hostile workplace under Sarver. Some told the four-letter network that he has used racially insensitive language repeatedly in the office. Employees recounted conduct they felt was inappropriate and misogynistic, including Sarver once passing around a picture of his wife in a bikini to employees and speaking about times his wife performed oral sex on him. Wow. Okay. All right. Some said the longtime owner fostered an environment in which employees felt they were his property, even once asking a woman whether he'd owned her to determine whether she worked for the Suns. You know, after what I just heard, again, I'm not saying he's guilty still. I think Earl Watson's credible. I think that the information in this story so far warrants an NBA investigation, which has been launched. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, why is it that the local radio guys are sitting here trying to say there's nothing to see here and that there's no smoking gun and that at least there's no recordings and no video? 70 employees, former and current. Earl Watson, a very, very credible man. Very credible. Not saying, again, that Sarver's guilty. I'm saying for the local guys to run their mouths and say that there's no smoking gun, Earl Watson just making the comment that he made, folks, I won't call it a smoking gun, but I'll definitely say the gun is pointing at Sarver's head. What are you local radio yuppies talking about? Are you serious right now? This is amazing to me. I don't know. I could go on. I could read a lot more. This thing looks lengthy. Wow, does it look lengthy? I don't know. There's going to be a lot of people that defend Sarver because they want to keep their jobs, obviously, and they're going to have, rhymes and reasons as to why they're going to do that. There's going to be certain people who are going to have, rhymes and reasons as to why they're going to want to bury Sarver. Maybe they got an axe to grind. That part would be true. But again, with that being said, people axe to grind for and against Sarver. Earl Watson, pretty credible. I don't understand why the local radio guys are running their mouths saying there's nothing to see here. There's no smoking gun. That there's no story. There's no there. They don't see anything. I barely read into the story, and within the first couple of paragraphs, I'm sold on there is something here. There's something to see here. Again, still, even after what, and I've only read a little bit, I'm not burying Sarver and saying he's guilty, but I am saying you got a very, very credible witness in Earl Watson, and for the local radio guys here to try and dismiss it and act like there's nothing here, maybe you guys are getting paid by the Phoenix Suns. Maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe you got a conflict of interest. Maybe, I don't know. You know somebody that works for the Suns. I don't know. Maybe you're afraid of losing your Suns tickets. I don't know. But for you to make that kind of a comment saying that there's no smoking gun and there's nothing here, I maybe you don't know how to read. I got a 4-year-old. She could teach you guys. Maybe maybe you need some comprehension skills. Again, I got a 4-year-old. She could teach you local radio guys because maybe you just don't know how to read, and I'll be more than happy to lend her to you so she can teach you how to read because I don't know what you guys think you know that nobody else does. This is amazing. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm working on reading this while I'm talking to you at the same time, and yeah, I see some stuff, and I see a couple of people that are defending him as well, and that's fine. Of course, there's going to be people, like I said, going to be people that defend him, and that's fine. And there's going to be people that are against him, and that's fine. But I've been on this story, haven't heard anything from the media. Now I am curious to see what is the actual news media, the TV news media, what are they going to do with this story? That's what I want to see. Are they still going to try and bury it? Are they going to give it a 1-minute clip and move on to the next story? Try and talk about the Phoenix Suns in their homestand, trying to go for their third straight victory? What are they going to do with this story? I can't wait. Unbelievable. I've been out in front of this for a while. I've been all over this thing. Media's been quiet. Radio's been quiet. Now radio's noisy, but all they're really doing is getting into defense mode instead of, saying, here's what's being said. These are what the allegations include. That's what they should be doing. But instead, they're getting in defense mode, trying to say there's no video, no smoking gun, no current players. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Tell the people what the facts are. That's what your job is. It's amazing to me. The blasphemy I'm hearing from the local radio and the silence I'm hearing from the TV news. Again, maybe that changes in tonight's news. I'm going to watch. I'm going to find out. And I am definitely, obviously, going to be listening tomorrow morning to tomorrow morning's news. And if they still don't say anything, I'm going to call them out on every media platform I have available to me, because this has been a travesty for these people to claim to be reporters and not report on news that's relevant and important. So again, just to make sure that I sum this up before I go, I am not saying that Sarver's guilty, but I am saying Earl Watson is credible. So I do believe there is a definite discussion to be had, but I am not convicting him based off Earl Watson alone. I am saying, but there is the credibility that, again, the local radio guys want everybody to believe does not exist, by trying to go further by saying there's no recordings, there's no video, there's no current basketball players that are saying the same thing about Sarver. I don't know. I don't know why they're in defense mode. Again, I laid out a couple of possibilities. Maybe they're afraid to lose their tickets. Maybe they get paid by the Phoenix Suns. Maybe they got a spouse or somebody gets paid by the Phoenix Suns. I don't know. But otherwise, if those aren't the reasons, and even if they are, they're still stupid, because at this point, there is no reason for anybody to convict or defend Sarver. The only thing anybody should be doing is bring into light the allegations, what they consist of, and who says them. And then from there, figure out what the facts are and watch this thing unravel. That's what everybody should be doing. Not going into defense mode, trying to defend Robert Sarver because you're afraid he might have to sell the team, and some way, somehow, that's going to be the worst thing in the world, and I don't even understand that either. Again, I don't understand it, especially since he's been one of the worst owners in the NBA for a long, long time. So, I don't know. This is amazing to me. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be reporting on it. I'm going to be talking about it. And I'm going to especially be paying close attention to what the local radio and the local TV people have to say about this. Because, again, they've been trying to be quiet. Now it sounds like the radio guys are trying to be dismissive about it. Can't wait to see what the local TV news has to say about it. I am just going to report what I find out, and we will go from there. I'll read more of the stories tonight in regards to the NBA investigation, in regards to the other allegations. And again, I'll get more into it with you tomorrow. It would take too long, obviously, to read the entire story now and try and do it now because, again, I'm trying to do it live because this was the first opportunity I had to actually go through it. I knew the story existed because of TMZ, because of certain friends that kind of are close to the Phoenix Suns organization. That's how I came aware of this to begin with. I can't name those people. I can only tell you that they were the ones that made me aware. And then, of course, TMZ. And again, even with the people that I know, I'm not using them and saying that I have inside information and that Sarver is guilty. I am only going to report what I find out, let you know who said what and what the allegations consist of, and we will watch this unravel. It is not my job to determine anybody's guilt or innocence, just like it is not the job of the local sports radio guys to determine Sarver's guilt or innocence. And it sounds to me like they're more interested in his innocence than anything else, and I find that alarming and disturbing. You guys have a great day. I'm going to get some more reading done. We will talk more about this and a whole lot more tomorrow.